Hello, world changers, and welcome to the first ever official episode of CLAIHR CAM. I'm your host, Brikenna Camilli.
And I'm Sarah Cormack.
And today, before we begin with our discussion, we would like to acknowledge the land that York University is situated under.
Exactly, and it's taken care of by the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee,
the Wendat, the Métis, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations.
Perfect. And today we're talking about another difficult issue, namely El Salvador and the laws there that ban abortion in basically all circumstances. So when we say that the laws ban abortion, we're talking about if the woman is at risk of physical harm, if she's been raped, incest, and that includes miscarriages.
Yes, or stillbirths, and these are situations that are out of the control of the woman, and it doesn't even come to abortion at that point. It just comes to a pure traumatizing moment for a female to lose her child to begin with.
Exactly. I don't think even you need to get into the abortion debate because oftentimes it's a miscarriage, it's a stillbirth, and the woman wakes up in the hospital,
right, handcuffed to the bed of the hospital.
And they say there was a quote I think we read that there's a pipeline from the hospital straight to the prison.
Hospital to prison pipeline.
Because the doctors, if they don't report it, what might have been an abortion or looks like an abortion, they can go to prison for long sentences as well.
Right, so they basically, if a doctor comes in and, someone doesn't even have to be verified, there's no real investigation that goes on. All someone has to do is say, oh, this baby was alive when it was born and this woman killed her baby, even though they might have been unconscious and just, flat out fell in a pool of their own blood. Even in those situations, they have to call the police because then they could have pretty much the same sentence as these women could get.
Exactly.
And, so it's not even abortion anymore though, because they get charged with aggravated murder. Some of these women get 40 years in prison.
30 to 50-year prison sentences.
And
that's the reason why, so earlier in the year, a bill came in that suggested that they not make abortion illegal in cases where rape or other things like that.
And Chile was one of those places that took off they passed it. So
story
even the success,
moving in the right
direction. The fact that it's almost 2018 now and we still have women going to prison for basically being women and having the only possibility of them being the ones to reproduce in the first place.
Perfect example of a gender-based crime.
Absolutely. And some stats for you. So 2 in 5 pregnancies from girls aged 10 to 12 are the result of rape and incest, and rapists often go unpunished. But these girls who don't really have the capability probably to carry the child full term.
And don't get the education either about their choices, their options. They have no idea.
They don't know what their rights are. They don't know what their reproductive rights are. And they're often from situations where they're very poor, they're very vulnerable, they're not educated. So it's just like compounding onto the discrimination that they already feel.
And the reason that this is a live issue right now, of course the law is still in place, but most importantly, there's a woman named Teodora Vasquez, and she was sentenced to 30 years after she woke up. She called 911, fainted at work, woke up in a pool of blood, had a miscarriage basically, and was sentenced to 30 years in prison.
She had an appeal recently after 10 years of her serving her sentence.
She served 10 years so far.
And they did not accept her appeals. So
they've denied it,
She is back in prison for...
Still in prison for 20 years.
It just boggles my mind that it's already a traumatic enough moment for a female to lose her child. I don't think that comes into play at all here. And now you're just saying, okay, you're traumatized. You woke up in a pool of your own blood, but you're going to be handcuffed to the hospital bed.
Charged with aggravated murder
of your own child.
30-year sentence.
Oh, and the other part that is really important to capture here is the fact that when they're in prison, the other inmates look really badly upon them and treat them very horribly.
Say you deserve to die. You killed your baby.
Even the worst of the worst, and I won't use the words here, would not kill their own children. And it's just that these women are they're victimized over and over and over again for something that's not a crime in any real sense of the word. And
there's no investigation.
No,
they can't know if a crime even occurred.
And they just take everybody else's word for it. This could be another man's word. This could be, literally anybody could have just said
or
whatever.
the women who, the doctors who have to do it, or they'll get those sentences as well.
Right. It's just a very unfortunate situation. And I mean, in 1998, at least 150 women were prosecuted, and at least 100 of them were convicted. This is
150 women have been prosecuted under this law in the past 10 years, 20 years.
I mean, at the end of the day, Sarah and I were looking into this. We were searching what can we do to help on our end here, and Sarah actually found a little something that might be useful.
Thank you. Yeah, so Amnesty International is aware of the crisis, aware of the inequality that comes out of this law.
The human rights issues are evident this day.
Sweeping. It's, it crosses everything from miscarriages, things like when the women are physically at risk of dying, they have to carry their baby to term.
And women is a really loose word we use here because some of these are girls. They're 10 to 12 years old. Like they just hit puberty and they were either raped or they were, abused through incest, and they have no idea what to do in those situations.
Right. So Amnesty International has a petition going. It's only been signed by 1,300 roughly people, and we want to make the numbers bigger, even if if
everybody at
people that
Osgoode
watch this video can sign the petition. There's protesters in the streets of El Salvador, but we want to make a difference and try to get this law changed.
Right, and I mean, you might not think a lot can happen from your signature, but why not give it a try, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do we have to lose by writing in our name and saying, you know what, this is inequality, this is unjust. I mean,
it's not right.
We are CLAIHR, right? We are Canadian lawyers, and even if everybody at Osgoode Hall, even from our little community, our little school here, were to sign this or share it and send it to their friends on Facebook. I mean, we all have social media, let's be real.
Exactly. And then one person becomes 300 people, we can make a difference. We might as well try. So, on that
note, here's a little clip from our last big CLAIHR ILP mashup. We have a bit of a clip of Oliver Moon dancing at
so we had an international night, and we had everyone come out and do little presentations, cultural.
It was basically like over the summer we have this program where we can go to different countries around the world in the global south and see if we can make a difference in a legal or in just sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had people from upper years coming in and talking to us about different areas that they went and visited and the difference that they made, the impact that they made, in order to encourage more people to do the same. So
exactly. So here's our clip of Oliver Moon. He is incredible.
Great dancer.
And we'll see you for episode 2.
Yeah. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.